Hi, everybody. Oh, it's time. Are you ready? GemWise, I'm so happy to see you. I am here. I was actually just finishing a donation today. That was the last thing on my to-do list before we had class. Every week, I have made a donation from Sage Goddess, a portion of our proceeds to a different charity. One week I did, we've done so many. We've done a Florida organization that supports animals who were endangered during the storms. We've done supported two rebuilding efforts in the Gulf Coast. Tonight I just made a donation to Save the Children Mexico. We're doing that in honor of the Day of the Dead. We have supported some of the GoFundMes of victims from the Las Vegas shooting. So it's really, really fun for me. Each week I have a set amount and I choose an organization to support. And it's because our world is in such a state of chaos and disarray that it feels really beautiful to constantly be giving. And so I want to encourage you too, especially as we enter this season of magic, and especially as we think of, Thanksgiving and all of the beautiful blessings that we have been given. It's really important for you to know that we do that at Sage Goddess, and that every week we're looking and saying, where can we turn now? And I will tell you, I'm not a judgmental person, but I haven't noticed a lot of people doing it, especially not in the metaphysical community, which surprises me. It's money is an energy, and I think it's really important to give back. So I just want you to know that we do that, and that we're very mindful of it, and that we're very proud of it. It's really fun for us. So anyway, that happened today. I took a minute to post it on our main page, because I also think if people hear where we're donating, maybe they'll be inspired. And every single dollar, like Norma knows, she's Puerto Rican. We also funded an organization in Puerto Rico. I think that was 2 weeks ago. I can't quite keep up. We're also going to be supporting financially some rebuilding efforts in the British Virgin Islands. And so it just feels really good to have that complete cycle of, giving and receiving that's so important to us. I do think people, what happens when there is, and thank you for that, Brenda, I really appreciate it. We try, here at Sage Goddess, we make all kinds of mistakes. But we also do a lot of good in the world. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Sue's here from Kenya. Yes, we try. And you don't have to give money to spread light. It's not like that's the only way to do it. But I do think it's important sometimes to put financial energy back, into the system. And so we're just really mindful of it. And I like being a reminder of that too. I really, really do. One of the things I want to do at the holidays is figure out a way to help, maybe on a deeper level, some of the families of those who were lost in the Las Vegas shootings around the holidays. Every time the holidays roll around, I'm always mindful of who doesn't have their family and who was taken from them this year. And so anyway, we're talking about all that here. I think we've given several $1,000s now over the last 3 months to different rebuilding efforts, and so we're doing our part. I hope you can do your part too. And even if you're not able to give money, you don't have to do that. I'm doing that, but maybe what you can do is send really beautiful energy. You know what I mean? Or just send a sweet thought, or send send energies of peace, or whatever is in your heart. You know what I mean? But energy is currency too. I think it all matters. But it's really important for me, as the head of Sage Goddess, to tell you that we really do give back, and it's really important to you. So that happened today. I'm going to smudge just a little bit, just to clear some of the energy. My sweet team brought me a brand new, beautiful smudge bundle, because I had really worked the other one out. It was time for me to have a new bundle. So here it is. And just calling your energy into present time. Yeah, it's a really beautiful idea. We talk about those things at the holidays. And if you remember last year, actually for the last 2 years, we've done gift sets for children. Did you remember that? Some of you weren't here with us last holidays maybe, but I actually physically drove all of those gemstone sets to Children's Hospital of Los Angeles that all of you bought, and then whatever you didn't buy, I just donated, and then So the children at Children's Hospital Los Angeles had gemstone sets to open at the holidays, which was really cool, and they loved it. And then what Sage Goddess did, do you remember, is we made bath and body sets for their moms. Because so many times, my daughter's been in the hospital. In fact, my daughter's not well, and so I'm going to have to leave right at 6:30 tonight to get home to her. And maybe it's because I do have a sick child with a chronic illness that I have such compassion for children. I have compassion for everyone in the world, I think, because I have a child with a chronic illness. I think it just, maybe it's because I have one and she has one, but it makes me really soft. I'm always soft with people because I've just learned that life is fragile and precious, and you shouldn't be unkind to people because you never know what kind of battle they're fighting, especially with children. I don't ever talk about my, battles with my own child's health, but it's ongoing. And thank you for your prayers. But anyway, I wanted to say we are doing it again this year. We're gonna do something special with Children's Hospital. Last year we did bath and body sets for the moms because when I have to be in the hospital with my daughter over a couple of days, I appreciate having a lotion. You know what I mean? Because you're not worried about yourself, you're worried about your child. So I loved having a perfume or an essential oil or a lotion. So we put together these beautiful sets of just pure lavender last year and delivered all of that to the moms. And so when their child got a gift last year, the moms also got a gift. So I think we donated $1,500 or $2,000 worth of gift sets. So I think we're going to do that again. And I'm also doing a fundraiser at home this year for Children's Hospital. I'm doing a holiday party at home, and guests have to bring an unwrapped gift to get in. So, which I figure is a pretty fair request given I'm offering an open bar. So anyway, I think the more you can give at the holidays, as we get older, it's not so much about receiving. But I'm extra sensitive and aware that being in the hospital at the holidays is kind of a crappy thing. So that is that. Yeah, so I will. So, and, I would really love to see us talk about, I would love your suggestions. Maybe you have an even better suggestion than a gemstone set. What do you think from Sage Goddess kids would love? And what we do when we set up that listing is when you buy it, all of that goes to the kid. There's no profit from Sage Goddess, and there's no shipping because we're delivering it. So it's this really beautiful, pure philanthropy. If you buy a gem set, it goes directly to the children, and there's no shipping because it's local. And so it's just a complete 100% gift. I know, I think they would love flash tattoos. I have heard that they can't have them on in the hospital. I don't know if that's true, but I have heard, because Children's Hospital is very, very strict. They're not allowed to have stuffed animals, for example, because those can harbor disease. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to figure out what they would love. I know. All right, Norma. Well, I'll take you up on that offer. Honestly, my whole team gets really excited about stuff like this, like putting gemstone sets together for kids and stuff. I mean, we're GemWise, so we can talk about that. How fun is it to put a gem set together for a child who may have been sick for years? You know what I mean? And just knowing how excited they're going to get about it. Yeah, the coloring books would be fantastic. That's an awesome idea. The little stone animals, I love that too, because, they love the little statues. I think that would be good too. I was thinking about the little pigs, the little tripod pigs that we have, like how cute that would be for good luck. Because I know when my daughter's in the hospital, all she ever asks is, when am I going to get out, right? The kids don't want to be there. And unfortunately, as her mom, I always have to say, I don't know. But maybe with the little good luck pigs, it would be good luck for getting out of the hospital or something like that. I don't know. Really fun. Well, thank you guys for the little inspiration around that. I appreciate it. We're excited to think about how we can support the kids this holiday. It's not that I don't think of adult causes at the holidays. I do, but there's something about, as the mom of an unwell child, there's something about thinking about that child being in the hospital on Hanukkah or on Christmas or on Yule and just wishing they were home. You know what I mean? And those parents knowing they can't be and making some difference there, which is really beautiful. Well, so maybe what I'll do is I'll put something together special for GemWise. Again, something like that where whatever you buy goes directly to the hospital. And so it can be something really special for GemWise. Or if you guys wanted to organize something, I was going to say some of the other groups are doing Secret Santa. And so each group can do it. You just have to have sort of a point person. And when we do Secret Santa, I set up a little special thing, a code or a way for you to get a little gift if you buy a gift or you gift a gift or something like that. Sabbatical does it every year, and they're doing it this year too. So anyway, if you're interested in Secret Santa or just donating or whatever, we can talk about that in the group. Isn't it cool? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Is doing something special for donation. But I would really love your ideas. Do you know what I mean? Would really, really love your ideas. Oh, it's terrible. All right, I see you. Cool. Okay, so we'll do that. So we have a lot of work to do tonight. And let me tell you, the giveaways tonight, I know I've done some really crazy giveaways in my time with you. Tonight may still beat it. Tonight may still beat it. Jackie said, what about 1 or 2 days where a portion of the purchases goes to the children? We're sort of doing that now with all of the charities, right? So every week, a portion of our proceeds go to a charity that we're choosing. So I think if we do the gemstone sets for children, that'll probably be what we do for children. And then I'll keep the weekly sort of donation going for other organizations is my plan for right now. But I love your suggestions. Okay, are you ready? Because we're talking about one of the Synergy 12 tonight, right? Which is very important, which is Moldavite. So I have a pretty amazing gift tonight. One of you is going to win this beautiful piece of Moldavite. How gorgeous is that? That's a pretty flippin' awesome giveaway. That may be one of the best that we have done so far. I would highly recommend wire wrapping that. I know. I don't know what the value of this piece is, but it's definitely more than $100. So this is an awesome giveaway. Look at the light hitting that. This is one of the most pristine pieces of golden sheen obsidian I've ever had. Right? I know. And it's both sides. It's both sides are completely covered. Have you ever seen golden sheen obsidian like that? Because I don't know that I have. That is a giveaway. And then I have one more giveaway as a preview of next week. I will tell you, probably the giveaways tonight are probably worth, I would say $300, $350 maybe, something like that. This is Tanzanite. It is a member of the Synergy 12. And here's what I want. Are you ready? I want the winner of this piece to wear it during our November class because it's the Synergy 12. How gorgeous is it? Like, this is the perfect size. I wanted this one for you because this is the size that I like to wear. I think it's big enough. This is probably about a, what's it, 8-carat Tanzanite. Crystal clear, open on the back, 925 sterling silver. How beautiful is that? I'm excited for you guys. So those are all the giveaways. I know. I think you guys know. It's funny because giving is magic to me. It's absolute magic. We were talking at one point about how much we give away in stones every year. And it's on the order of between $25,000 and $30,000 worth of stones that we give away each year, if not more than that. That's the minimum it is. So it's really exciting because it's a constant sort of, you know, generosity. And I think that that's a very important thing to do. And we give away some pretty cherry pieces. We actually save. We go through and scour and save the pieces. We're like, that's a giveaway, and that's a giveaway, and that's a giveaway. So I'm excited for you guys tonight. Okay. Giving is the magic. So tonight we're talking about amorphous crystals. I also have your questions, by the way, from the group. So I'll be answering all of the questions tonight that you have too. Great questions. I know, aren't they fun giveaways tonight? Super fun. I'm so excited about it. Honestly, if you get one of these tonight, every one of them is special. They're very different though. That Moldavite is extraterrestrial. It is about outer realm magic, as I call it. It's really about working outside of this dimension. And then the golden sheen obsidian, I'm going to teach you how to use this piece or any palm stone you have. This is an aura cleanser. Have you heard me talk about that before? Nothing clears the aura like obsidian. And in fact, that was one of your questions tonight was, which crystals repair and seal the aura. And I mean, how funny that tonight you actually have in your set the best possible aura cleanser. And I'm going to teach you tonight how to use your palm stone to do that. After tonight, I want you to keep this palm stone by your bedside. If you're open to doing the homework, okay, I want you to keep it by your bedside. And you're basically, I'm going to teach you tonight how to use this like a bar of soap. This is what I do every night. I go through, I have an obsidian palm stone by my bed, and I go through and I clear the entire aura. So I have to. People attach all kinds of stuff to me in my role. And some of it is their energy and some of it's mine, but most of it is projection, because you know what we do with teachers is we project onto them everything we like about ourselves and don't like about ourselves. So I'm constantly, you know, receiving and having to clear and receiving and having to clear. And so using your palm stone that way, and you can, I've learned how to sort of do my back, you know, by catching sort of the blind spots, but you do have to do your back too. Is the bedside getting crowded, Suzanne? I love that. So if you got this palm stone, if you got this month's set, you already have the tool you need. Basically what I want to do tonight is teach you how to use your tools really, really successfully. Any obsidian clears the aura. It does not have to be golden sheen. We're going to talk about specifically what golden sheen does, but any obsidian clears the aura, which is pretty cool. It does. It heals the tears. Exactly right, Heather Reed. It heals the tears in the aura. And you know, it's really funny. So I had a very, you may have heard this story before. I haven't told it very often. I had a very powerful psychic and medium, relatively famous, come to the shop. And we had a great conversation. At the end of it, he said, the only thing I haven't figured out how to do is seal up my aura. He said, because I go into celebrity homes and I go into all these places and I'm clearing energy and I'm moving energy, and it's hard for me to admit sometimes that I still don't fully know how to protect my aura and then how to remove stuff from my field when it's been attached. And so we had this whole conversation. It was really interesting. And I gave him Shield perfume, which in my opinion is probably our best. It's certainly our most popular protection perfume, Shield. I gave him a bottle of Shield, and I gave him a obsidian palm stone, just a black obsidian palm stone, just a little bit bigger than this. He wrote me back a couple of weeks later, and he said that all the things that were happening to him when he was clearing houses, because he would say he would get cold chills, or his heart would go into a regular like arrhythmia, which these are common signs of having sort of entity attachments. We don't talk about this a lot, but I talk about this in conversations with people in the field, right? And he said that he hadn't had the cold chills, he hadn't had the arrhythmia, anything since he'd been using the palm stone. And all I did was teach him this technique of just working down the body. And then I do a special thing at the end where I really seal the crown chakra. And then I go underneath my rump and I really seal the root chakra, because those are the two places where energy leaks, right? Energy can leak through the crown and energy can leak through the root, because that's the top and the bottom of your energetic column. Your legs and your feet are really not part of your energetic column. Your energetic column extends from the top of your head to your tailbone. I'm going to go grab my computer because I forgot I have pictures I want to show you, and they're important for all of our stones tonight. So stay right there. I'll be right back. Let me pull up those pictures one more time because they're really important for me to show you. Okay, so when we get to obsidian, I have something really powerful to show you. Okay, so tonight we're talking about the amorphous crystals, which means they don't have a structure. I love that. Nicolette says, I'm not going anywhere. Oh, Felicia, I am so sorry for your loss. Her cousin died suddenly, and she has felt her cousin around her, which doesn't surprise me. The spirits are around. And if you're in Holistic Healer, you might have seen my post today about the fact that on Monday, we'll talk about charging the stones too tonight. So Rana, if I forget that, just remind me and I'll come back. In my experience, it's the palm stones that do this. which is why you constantly see palm stones at Sage Goddess. I have not been able to do what I just showed you with any other shape, but try it. Do you know what I mean? Just because it hasn't worked for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. So if you have an obsidian wand, you might try that, especially if the wand is single terminated like this one is. You might try. This is actually a shungite wand, but it has an obsidian arrowhead on it. So, you know, I could sort of try that. But in my experience, I haven't been able to do the same work with wands that I've been able to do with palm stones. But what I say is experiment. I really only learned about, you know, I didn't learn the palm stone thing from anybody else. I learned it from doing it. I learned it from just working with my palm stones and realizing, wow, that's really effective. Okay, so we're talking about amorphous crystals, which means they don't have a crystal structure. All crystals, for the most part, other than the amorphous, have a crystal structure. And that crystal structure is their magic. You know, when I tell people about what we do in GemWise, a lot of times it blows their mind. And sometimes these are people who know metaphysical stuff, and sometimes they're not. Yeah, we can absolutely. In fact, Joyce Mathers, wouldn't it be fun to do a bonus session where we talk about the different types of terminations of chords? Wouldn't that be fun? Like to talk about the different numbers of faces and how to work with them and why you would want to work with an Isis versus a Tao, for example. I would really love to do a class like that. At the very least, I'd like to do a meme about it. So let me kind of stew on that and figure out how I would do it, but I love the idea. Okay. Oh, Lindsay, it's her first GemWise. I love that. That's very cool. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Actually, you know, I have a tray that has all of the unique faces and carvings on it. So it has literally everything on it. It's almost like show and tell. So I've also thought about just doing kind of a bonus video where I walk you through the tray, like here's a record keeper and here's a Isis generator, you know, just kind of walking you through it. Here's a tantric twin, and why would you want that? And here's a single versus a double terminated. And okay, I'll get this ready because now that I know you want it, because Arrow Magic is having, you know about their bonus next month, right? So Holistic Healers next month gets the bonus of the rune class for free. Arrow Magic is getting perfume making and incense making for free. And so GemWise then will get the this little bonus for free, which I think is really cool. So fun, isn't it? I really love, I already think the classes are a really incredible value. I have to tell you, I don't know a lot of teachers who still do classes at these price points. I do it because I want people to be able to learn if they want to learn. I think it's a beautiful way to learn. And I really try to make sure that you feel like you just get so much for your $20 each month. And so those bonus classes are really a gift and my way of filling your cup. Hopefully. So hopefully you're enjoying that. Okay. Yay. I know it's so much fun, isn't it? Okay. So amorphous crystals. So let's talk about that. Tonight we are working with lava, which I love. Non-Hawaiian, because you don't want Hawaiian lava. It makes Pele mad. This is Indonesian lava. No goddesses were offended in the offering of that lava. We're working with Moldavite, which, by the way, if you remember, we had these pieces. That's why I was so excited about this month's set. We had these pieces on sagegoddess.com for $15, and it was part of your $19 kit. I was really proud of that. You have your obsidian palm stone with the word wisdom, because these are stones of wisdom. And then you have your fire opal, which if you want to see it come to life, you got to put it in some water. I think you know that already. All opals come to life when they're in water because opals are water. Opals are made of almost all water. And so the high level of water content in them means that the way you actually charge and clear opals is in its natal element, which is water. And so always try. That's an interesting comment, Brittany. We'll come back to that. Moldavite's weird. It's a trip. Not everybody likes it. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, your opal should have a little bit of flash in it. These are Mexican fire opals. And so those are the stones of tonight. So all of the stones that you're holding, I want you to take a minute and just hold them in your hand. Hold them in one hand. You ready? I'm going to hold them in my left hand. All of them. Ah, okay. Cynthia, did you purchase a set? Because if you didn't get a fire opal, I owe you one. But if you just are using your own stones, that's good too. Nope, opals will not dissolve. They will not. And in fact, though, you can hurt your opals by never putting them in water. They actually need the water to survive because so much of their constitution is water. You can leave it in water all the time. What I do with my opals is I bathe them. So once a month, my opals get to sit in something just like this, sometimes overnight, and then they're cleared and they're ready and they're juiced up. Oh, I love that. Oh, you're very lucky, Cynthia. She got some Australian fire opals. By the way, the energy of Australian fire opals and Mexican fire opals is very different. Did you know that? Have you ever worked with both of them together? I love Australian opals. I'm a huge fan. I like Mexican opals better, which is why I chose to give you a Mexican opal. No, Cynthia, you need your fire opal. So let me just do me a favor and send a quick note to Magic or send me a private message, and I'll make sure that your fire opal is off to you tomorrow because you need it. You need your fire opal. My team's so good. If anything's ever missing, they will replace it for you. Okay, so amorphous means that at some point, all of the crystals that were just in your hand were liquid, right? They were liquid. I really want you to take a moment to think about that. Yeah, you can. Jackie's asking about the opal from the Zeus set, which was a while ago. You absolutely can take it out and enjoy it. You can store it in your water, or like I said, once a month, just give your opal a bath. It will thank you for it. Oh, that's beautiful, Nicole. Oh no, your Moldavite should be about this size. So hopefully you got a piece about that size. I like to say it's about the size of my pinky fingernail is the size of the piece that you should have gotten. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, so you ready? So all of these crystals were liquid at one point and hardened at one point. And so these represent transformation and ancient wisdom. These have the wisdom. And I do think, I really do think that as you transform from one element to another, okay, as you go from liquid to solid, the transformation in structure that happens is alchemy. If you think about it, you are really moving and transforming and creating solid matter. And as it transforms state, its own energetic imprint, its own energetic pattern shifts. And so I think that is really the magic. Do you know what I mean? I think that energy, Moldavite hardened, by the way, as it re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. So we'll talk about that. Moldavite is the result, of course, of a meteoric collision with Earth. And as the meteor crashed, it liquefied, and as it re-entered Earth's atmosphere, it re-hardened. And so I have friends who will not work with Moldavite, but I will tell you, I think you should. I work with it all the time. I love it. There are certain parts of my magic I wouldn't be able to do without Moldavite. I think it's that important. And so we'll talk about that tonight too, which is so great. Very cool. Okay, you should know, and I'm very proud of that. We've only ever bought Moldavite from one source, and he's very trusted. And so all of our Moldavite is 100% natural, real. We're very proud of the quality, and we're also very proud of the fact that we can bring it to you at good prices. Moldavite is extremely expensive. And there are people saying it's only going to become more expensive in the next couple of years. So... Sarah, that's an interesting, I haven't had that experience of it bringing aliens. I have had the experience of it fast tracking my spiritual development. The word that we throw around, which I have to, use it delicately, is ascension, right? Because ascension means different things to different people. But for me, ascension is sort of a fast track. By the way, your fire opals, you guys, came in a slightly separate, I think, container from your gemstone set. So I hope that some of you who got it didn't throw it away by accident. If you didn't get one, that may have happened. It may have been in the wrap of your package. So just send me a private message or send an email to Magic. I won't be able to help you right here, right now, but I do want to make sure that you get your fire opal, and I have a few. So just make sure you let me know, okay? So like I said, it doesn't, in my experience, bring aliens per se, although my family has had lots of contact over the decades, and so maybe I'm already bringing aliens and I don't know it. That's a story for another time, but we actually have had contact in my family with extraterrestrials, and so, but for me that's not scary. That for me is where I came from, and so to me the extraterrestrials are really the star nations, and I do think they're starting to make a deeper and deeper imprint and impact on our planet, in part because of the direction that we're going in anyway. But I guess because my family's just been talking about aliens and extraterrestrials since I was very small, to me, it's sort of a natural, normal topic of conversation and doesn't really freak me out. But it's up to you. You know, I think some people have to sort of come to that awareness or that level of comfort working with that energy. Okay, so as I said, the structure of an amorphous solid is indistinguishable from a liquid, meaning it never crystallized. It never crystallized. And so as your other crystals have formed, as quartz forms, as aquamarine forms, as almost every other mineral on the planet forms, it does form into a specific structure, and that structure has its own metaphysical properties. That's what we've been studying all year in GemWise. And so we finally have sort of come to the end of our talk about structure, only to talk about the lack of structure and how magical that is. And when you think about it, it's really interesting. The last time I did ayahuasca journey, there was a part of my journey where my guides were talking to me about this, about the fact that there is so much magic in the absence of structure. Because I'm a very linear person. I like to talk about crystal structure. I like to study crystal structure. I like to talk about structure in general. I'm a very linear thinker. And so what they were showing me with these amorphous crystals in my ayahuasca journey was how magical it is when there is no structure. When the universe itself, which is highly systematic, highly structured, highly intelligent, when it creates a structure that violates all of the rules, it brings you a new perspective. It brings you a new energy stream. And I think it opens you to new ideas. And so I think that's why the amorphous stones have always, I'm glad that you appreciate that, Serena. You're Robin, you make me laugh. Moldavite is, let me see if I can get you a specific year. If I can't get it to you now, I will get it to you. I'll come back and post in the group. I don't want to misspeak. 15 million years ago. 15 million years. That's right, Angela Sweeney. I really think so. And yeah, Lauren, I couldn't agree with you more. It's mega magic. It is infinite possibility. And I think what it does is it reminds us that sometimes it's good to not have structure. And I know a lot of you understand this, you know, especially those of us who are parents, because our job is to create structure for other people. The medicine of tonight a little bit, if you'll let it seep into your groundwater, is what if you had to be without structure just for a little while? Like what if you had to relieve yourself of structure, of order, you know, or your idea of order? What if you allowed a little chaos into your life? You know, what if you allowed a little fluidity? What if you released some of the rigidity? So that is the broader, I like it too, Priscilla. That is the broader medicine. And I do think too, a lot of us as we get older, like this is the invitation, right? We get stuck in our mindsets. We get stuck in old patterns of judgment, like this should be this and that should be that. And I think if we can sort of, youthfulness really is about not being rigid, don't you think? Young people are more open to new ideas. They're more open to new practices. As we get older, we get stuck. And so I think part of what is youthfulness is retaining this willingness to play a little bit. And to me, that's what tonight's stones represent. So hopefully you'll see them that way too. I miss those days too. I know. Sometimes I still indulge myself a little bit because I'm still very kid-like, you know? So there are times where I'll take myself out on an ice cream date or something, you know, just to kind of, you know, in the middle of the day, which seems so crazy, but it's like just to break the pattern. You know what I mean? Just to get out of structure and what I think I'm supposed to be doing. So, yeah, I like it too, Ava. Go with the flow. Hey, Ruth. I like that. Ruth, that's pretty much the theme for tonight, is go with the flow. You got to go with the flow. Somebody asked me today how I do that, and I said, what choice do I have? Because they're saying, you always seem like you're just so easygoing, you're going with the flow, you're not resisting, and it's like, yeah, what choice is there? I mean, you know, do you have a choice? Do you get to, I don't know. Okay, so here's a sentence from your classroom content that I really want you to hear. And hopefully you're reading your classroom content on the website. There's all kinds of detailed information. I go kind of above and beyond in class because I don't like to repeat anything, but if you're seeking access to wisdom from alternate realities and realms, amorphous crystals are your allies. Due to their indeterminate nature, they allow energy to pass through freely. They are not encumbered by form and definition. Amorphous crystals carry the medicine of growth. And like I said, they also carry the medicine of rejecting structure. And it's not so much that they made a choice not to grow, right? What happened was they cooled too fast. Lava flow, right, which is what creates obsidian and what creates lava stone, it cools too fast to create a crystal structure. There isn't even that what I call the moment of design, you know, where the crystal itself can contort and contract. There isn't even that time. And the same thing, I'm glad you guys have the content. I like to appeal to the different ways that you learn, and I like to read and see pictures and hear. I'm a very multisensory learner, so I'm glad that you do too. And it's cool, if you print out your classroom content, by the end of the year, you'll have like a little book of stones, really, that you can print and bind and keep with all your notes. It's pretty cool that you appreciate that. I'm glad that you do and that you like it. So, you ready? We're going to start with lava. Lava. I love these pieces of lava. I've seen little ones, and we used to have small tumbled ones, but I do like the larger pieces. They just feel really substantial in my hand. So lava on the measure of hardness scale, which is how we measure the durability and strength of our stones, is a 3 to a 3.5. It doesn't even have time to structure itself. Elements for lava stone: earth and fire. Okay, sacral and root chakra, both of them. Astrological sign Aries, as you know from your notes. And it's mined all over the world. Like I said, this is Indonesian, but you do find lava in every part of the world, including Hawaii. And one of the things I wanted to show you, actually, while we're talking about lava, next time maybe I'll print some of these things to show you. So in Hawaii, lava is sacred to Pele. And in Hawaii, any sacred structure is called a heiau. And I'm going to show you a couple of heiaus that are made out of lava. Just kind of scrolling through. So these are sacred spaces that have been made. Oops, did I do that right? This is a wall of a Hawaiian temple or shrine that is made out of lava. Again, sacred to Pele. You see that? You can see actually the structure of the lava, I think. Isn't that beautiful? Just walls and walls and walls. Here's another sacred structure in Hawaii. Look at that. That's a wall of a shrine in Hawaii. This is a Pu'ukohola heiau. Isn't it beautiful? I love Hawaii so much. Look at that lava there. It's almost like you still have the flow happening with the larger rocks. So that is how lava is used in Hawaii to build sacred structures, because it's so important to Pele. Really funny story about what's not so funny for the people it happened to, but in Hawaii, you are not allowed to take lava. I think you know that, but that is kapu, forbidden, right? And so I got married on Maui, and I became friends with the man on the island who's in charge of all the burial grounds. He's called the Bone Keeper of Maui, and so he's in charge of, I love that, Life Transfigured is from Hawaii. We actually have a few Hawaiian students in our classes, which I love so much. And so he's the Bone Keeper of Maui. And so he told me a story once about how people, absolutely, Tina, I could not agree with you more, how people take lava home and they start having bad luck, because it's a thing. You cannot take lava from Hawaii. And so they take it home and they start having bad luck. And so there actually is a mailing address in Hawaii where you can send your lava back to Pele. And do you know that they get packages every day, like dozens of packages every day to this address from people who are like, holy shit, I got this lava home, and stuff has been happening. And it happens every day. And so there are, I had heard from somebody else in one of our classes that there are actually multiple places you can return your lava to. And then as soon as you pop it in the mail, all of a sudden the luck changes. It's fascinating stuff, isn't it? So anyway, we had that conversation because I was saying, don't worry, you know, my where I got married was on a burial ground, which is why I needed the Bone Keeper's permission. And there were lava rocks in a ring around where I got married. I eloped, so it was very small. My wedding was 3 people. But he was saying, be sure you don't take, anything from the site. And I was like, no, I'm well versed in Hawaiian mythology. You don't have to tell me that. I will not touch anything that's there. And in fact, I don't ever bring anything home from Hawaii. I think everything that's on that land should stay there. Unless it's like, I have bought like cuttings of plumeria that you can buy at the airport and stuff, but I really don't bring anything home. I think it's really important to, it is ginger ale time. Okay, so lava is obviously for deep earth wisdom, okay? It is the hardened result of the molten core of our planet, right? So the hottest, deepest, most molten parts of our planet. Lucky you, Paulette. Holy smokes. Wish I was going with you. I'll be somewhere tropical around the holidays, but not Hawaii, which is my favorite. It is the core of our planet. I mean, when you're holding lava in your hand, and take just a moment to do that. I don't think we meditate enough with our stones. So I always put it in my left hand with my right hand over, and take a moment to just ask this lava to show you the wisdom from the earth, to show you the wisdom of time, to show you the wisdom of shape shifting, right? Because it has shifted shape from fire to earth. This stone knows how to teach you to move gracefully through life's many challenges. And do you know that there's so many interesting legends? Yeah, I bring home the stuff that it's okay to bring, but I'm just saying I don't bring rocks, and I don't bring lava, and I don't bring sand, and I don't bring all of that stuff. I like to, one of my philosophies in life, and I'm trying to teach my kids this too, is I want to have as light of a footprint on the planet as I can. You know what I mean? Like walk really lightly through life. So I think it's important, and I try to model that with them too. This particular material, lava, was given to soldiers to keep them calm in battle, because it's thought to stabilize sort of your central nervous system. I believe that's true. I think this activates more the root chakra than the sacral, even though they say lower chakras with lava. I think this is really a root chakra material. So if you have been feeling, I know, right, Deborah? If you have been feeling just kind of unanchored, like you're floating around and you don't feel centered, you don't feel balanced, you don't feel, a sign that you need to get grounded too is being overweight. Being overweight is actually a lower chakra issue. And one of the things that helped me lose weight, because I've lost about 35 pounds in the last year and a half, one of the things that really finally made the difference for me, because it took a long time to do that, was recognizing that I wasn't in my root chakra. I wasn't in my body. I was floating around here in the upper chakras, but in order to digest your food well and boost your metabolism, you have to anchor in those lower chakras. Ta-da! So it really is. Do you know what I mean? So take a moment now, especially if you're having weight challenges or if you find yourself overeating, which again, overeating and over snacking is a sign that your root chakra is inactive. Because you're using food to get grounded. Do you understand what I mean? And it's really true. I became so self-aware. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. I became really aware of the fact that every time I was going for chips, or I was going for candy, or I was going for whatever, it's because I was trying to find a way, whether it was too much energy from social media. I'm sure you can imagine my world, right? Like it's absolutely overwhelming. There are some days where I don't even know how I do it. Energetically. And so, I was realizing I was receiving all this energy, and then I was trying to eat it down to stabilize myself. When I started using, yoga, and yoga poses in particular really help, when I started using gemstones, when I started meditating and envisioning the root chakra and, anchoring myself in the center of the earth, sending down roots and tentacles and anchoring them into the roots of the earth, like that is the shifting energy that really led to the energy change that happened. So now, I mean, I really, like today was kind of a crazy day in social for me. And so, I used a lot of root chakra stones just to stay grounded. I love me some almandine garnet. I use my little pyramid now that you probably have, but I use that all the time to get stable and get grounded. So whatever works for you, but I think it's really important to find your go-to stone so that you're not eating your feelings, to Cynthia's point, which is really true. It will ground you. And that's why there's so many overweight empaths, because we get all the energy coming in, we don't filter it, and then we start, especially at night, feeding that, trying to comfort and trying to stabilize. It's really true. Okay, so let me see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. But the temple sites in Hawaii, most of the Hawaiian temples are made from lava, that it's grounding. It also is associated with Shiva. So it is also a third eye material, even though we don't necessarily prioritize it for intuitive work. Do you know what I mean? But it definitely has that capacity as well. And like I said, native to Hawaii, sacred to Pele. But most of your lava that you have, like if you've bought a lava mala or if you have tumbled lava, most of it does not come from Hawaii. Hawaii does not export lava, as far as I know, for tumbling or jewelry making. So because in Hawaii, actually, there's still really strong efforts to protect the natural resources. And I think because it's so sacred and because so much of Hawaiian cosmology is still bound up in reverence to the deities and in reverence to the land, frankly, I just don't think, you know what I mean, that they're exporting it for jewelry or for stone use. I hear you guys. Well, Don, that's probably a result of the solar flares. If you're angry, and I notice that people are agitated too. So much of my work, honestly, in my role is to be able to be stable so I can let other people's sort of frenetic energies pass through. Yeah, lava is connected to Lord Shiva. Let me see what I wanted to tell you about that. Yes. That's right. And so it's believed to activate the intuitive fire within that Shiva represents. Because, of course, there's lava. There's lava all over the world, including India. Isn't that interesting? Well, Mariah, you're eating candy corn. It's a food group right now. It's Halloween. So I think candy corn is a very important food group today. Yeah. No, that's really funny. It's awesome. Okay. So that is lava. Let's move on to obsidian. We can start talking about energy clearing and aura clearing with wisdom, because that's really what obsidian is all about. Yeah, the solar flares are happening out of season right now, and it's interesting. And even as they cease, the impact on us is still being felt, which is really interesting to me too. Okay, obsidian, 5 to 5.5 on the measure of hardness scale. Elements of fire and earth with obsidian, structures amorphous, obviously. Sun sign, Sagittarius, element of earth, but also fire. You guys crack me up. You find obsidian all over the world, including Northern California. And that's what I want to show you right now. Lisa, it's interesting. I haven't heard that, but I would love to know what you think. Has anybody else heard that it can pull you into a depression? It has pulled me out of depression before. So I've had the opposite experience. Doesn't mean that it wouldn't have a different effect on someone else. Okay, you ready? Oh, I hope I can give you an angle on this that will allow you to see it in all of its beauty. This is rainbow obsidian from Northern California. Can you guys see it okay? Is that incredible? More rainbow obsidian from Northern California. That is a hand right there so that you can see the scale. That piece is huge. Again, look at the light play. Rainbow obsidian from Northern California. Look at that blade. Again, Northern California. We tend to think of the most beautiful rainbow obsidian as coming from Mexico, but the reality is some of these pieces, I know, right, you guys? Here's another beautiful rainbow obsidian from Northern California. These are a little harder to see. And this is just obsidian washed up on a beach in Northern California. How beautiful is that? Look at that beautiful driftwood just washing up on the beach. So if you want to make a field trip, I actually have friends. So I've told you this story before, but I'm going to tell you again because it's one of my favorite stories, and I have to tell you because it's obsidian night in GemWise. I do have friends that go to Northern California and come back with buckets of obsidian because it's just everywhere. And jade too. There's actually a beach called Jade Beach in Northern California, and there's jade all over the beach. There's a lot of gemstone magic. There's selenite, especially in Lake Tahoe, heading into Reno, Nevada. There are mines of selenite and quartz, smoky quartz, lots of beauty. And there's mines actually where you'll find selenite bordering quartz, and so there's these hybrid pieces. Really, really cool stuff. It's a great question, Susie. How do you tell obsidian from black tourmaline? Black tourmaline, when you polish it, has cracks. Okay, this is always the telltale sign. Schorl, which is black tourmaline, you cannot polish it without it having these very fine cracks. And they're not all over it. And by the way, I want to say one more thing too. How do you tell obsidian from black tourmaline from shungite? Because that's the other question I get. So when you tumble obsidian, there are no cracks. It looks like a mirror. No cracks. It's actually very easy to tumble obsidian. It's very easy to carve obsidian. And that goes back to its score on the measure of hardness scale, right? 3 to 3.5, it's going to be much easier to carve. Doesn't mean it's easy, right? But it does mean it's much easier to carve than quartz, for example, which is a 6 to 6.5 on the Moz. Black tourmaline, when you tumble it, cracks, like I said. So it will have like little tiny, if I had a piece here to show you, I would, but it'll have like little tiny cracks along there. Shungite has a hammered finish to it. My wand has been heavily polished, so it's a little harder to see. You can see it on the handle a little bit. It has like a hammered silver black texture to it. That's going to be a little hard to see. Here's black tourmaline though. Do you see the cracks all along here? Do you see that crack right there? I'm trying to show you with kind of shitty light. Do you see that crack right there? That's black tourmaline compared to obsidian. Does that help? You're always, and this is a natural termination of a black tourmaline crystal, by the way, but you're always in black tourmaline, and this is a natural point. Nobody has polished this. This is a rough piece with a natural termination. Even in a natural termination, you're still going to have cracks. Does that help? Interesting. Yeah, your obsidian should not have cracks in it. That's really interesting. It might have little dings in it because it's soft, and so if it strikes, like if your obsidian, careful, you don't want to break it, but if your obsidian strikes, it will mark on the stone because it's soft. Do you know what I mean? It's not hard like quartz. You'd have to work really hard to etch your quartz. And then how do you tell it all from onyx? Are you ready? Onyx is just lighter. So then it becomes an issue of the specific density. So if you can't tell your onyx from your obsidian, also a lot of times onyx is mixed with sardonyx, right? It'll have the different colors and different lines. So oftentimes you don't see pure black with your onyx. You'll see like a beige veining or a red veining, and that's because there's a mix of sard with your onyx or sardonyx. Very cool. Yeah, it may be a sheen rather than a crack too. That's exactly right. It should look like glass because guess what? Do you know what obsidian is? It's lavic glass. It's lava glass. It's glass that formed as your lava rushed and cooled and then hardened into, and when lava hardens, I don't know if you saw the texture in the pictures I showed you, but it hardens in like waves. It's absolutely beautiful. So let me tell you the story I wanted to tell you about because I don't want to get into the other stones. Our time is so limited, but we can always talk about the other stones at another time too. So here's what I want to tell you. Ready? We've only ever bought our obsidian from one family in Mexico. I think I've told you that. And in Mexico, the way obsidian mining works is they have their parcel of land for 100 years. And after that 100 years, they have to sort of renegotiate. And most people mine their land for hundreds of years because their families are in the business. Like the man that we work with, he's now transitioning. He's getting older. He's older than I am. He's now transitioning the business to his sons, who are his carvers. So his sons are the ones who polish all the palm stones. They made this, so they hand cut, hand carved, hand polished. His prices are a little bit higher than other obsidian sources, but I like it because it's a family. I know exactly where the stones are mined. I know that they don't switch hands. I know that they're real. But here's a really interesting story about it. An obsidian can be anywhere from thousands to millions of years old, right? It depends on when the original lava flow happened. Jet, by the way, you guys, is really petrified wood. And so you should know that. The reason jet is so light is that it's actually petrified wood. But again, I'm sidebarring that because that's a longer conversation. Rainbow obsidian is natural. You guys ready? So what my source described to me, and I really want to go down and tour because I want to, and we probably will next year because I want to see what he's talking about. When you walk into the obsidian mine, there's basically directions that they have carved out. And depending on the level of gases and nanoparticles in the air and in the earth, that dictates whether the black obsidian becomes mahogany, the red, whether it becomes golden sheen, whether it becomes silver sheen, whether it becomes rainbow, which is again just a result of nanoparticles and the development of the glass. And so in his mine, it's different directions. You go to the right, it's silver sheen and then golden sheen. And you go to the left and it's black and mahogany. And you go forward and it's rainbow. And so one of the reasons he loves this particular mine is he knows exactly how much left he has of each kind. Does that make sense? He hit the wall of his mine of golden sheen obsidian. He hit the end of it. And so he came to me and said, the prices are going to go up. You know, like this is what I've got. And so it's fascinating, which makes this all the more special, by the way, because the first pocket that he blew out of his mine in this 100-year plot, which, by the way, he will renegotiate in about 10 years, because it was his father who took that land originally, and then him, and then his cousin and his brother. And but anyway, I thought you would find that story really fascinating. So he knows exactly at all times, as I would want to too, and wouldn't you, how much raw material he has left to work with so that he can plan, so that he can alter his prices. Because one of the things you have to think about, I actually had a customer today tell me that she had bought a piece of barite from me, and then she returned it because she found a piece somewhere else that was less expensive. And was talking to me about that. And one of the things I was thinking as we were talking about it is, which, by the way, I think it's really good to comparison shop, and I do too. And actually, before we list anything, we always look and try to make sure that we're not the most expensive. We really try not to be the most expensive one on the market. And we've done a lot of work actually on lowering our prices in recent years. The GemWise sets, I'm absolutely shocked that we can do them. Did you see the set that I listed today for November? Which, by the way, if you want it, you should get it, because the raw tanzanite in it, I can't get more at that price. The pieces of tanzanite in your November kit are worth the price of the entire kit. This is tanzanite. This is raw tanzanite from South Africa. So if we're able to get more of that, which will probably be in December or January, it's not going to be at that price. And so one of the things I was thinking about, though, is part of what dictates price, like what price we buy our stones at, is the market. You know, it's who has access to the mine and how much are they getting, and are they mined out? Do you know what I mean? Like, so you might say, well, Athena, I can find golden sheet obsidian for less somewhere else. What I would say is you probably should do that, because I really trust my source. And so I'd rather pay a little bit more from him, which of course means I have to pass a little bit more on to you, but I know where it's from. I know who's mining it. I know who's carving it. I know who's touched it. I know that it hasn't been passed around. And so for some people, it's obviously more important to pay a lower price. And I totally get that. And then, but you know, for me, sometimes it's about the location and the source and the integrity of the process, because we've built really beautiful relationships with our vendors. And so, you know, it would be weird for me to say, well, I'm going to go somewhere else now because I can get it cheaper. Do you know what I mean? Like we've cultivated this relationship over 5 or 6 years, and this is somebody that I care about. I wouldn't want to take my business away from him to give it to somebody else, if that makes sense. So that's just a little bit of my thought process behind how we do our work too. Absolutely. So. Obsidian. What else do I want to tell you about obsidian? And by the way, so beyond aura cleansing, there are lots of other properties of obsidian, and you can find obsidian in the United States, which a lot of people, you know, I think the Mexican obsidian is a higher quality. It's a little more, it has more of that mirror-like appearance. It's not, sometimes you'll find it's a little milky and a little opaque. Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate that. But I also like to be transparent. Like, that's kind of our process. So if somebody said, well, I want to get obsidian somewhere else because it's cheaper, what I would say is you probably should, but I can't do that kind of thing. So obsidian is the stone of grounding, letting go, mourning, releasing, and protection. It heals tears and holes in the auric field, reminds you of your own inner strength. One of the questions that came up today was, oh my God, and then spiderweb and velvet. You guys know those two different kinds from us too, right? Those were new finds in his mine. So he's been working this land, and as his golden sheen side started to sort of bottom out, he started to push into other sides of the mines, fascinating story, and discovered that he had pockets of spider web and peacock or velvet, which is like a very soft, almost a watery rainbow. It's a little bit different. Some of you guys have those. So Sarah's asking the question I was just about to talk about, which is, how does the aura get holes and tears in it? It's a fantastic question. So the way your aura gets holes and tears in it is that your aura is permeable. Okay, so I want you to visualize your aura. Your aura is about, 6 to 12 inches away from your body, right? So it comes out like this. It goes over your arms and shoulders. It's about 6 to 12 inches over your head, and then it goes beneath your feet, about 6 to 12 inches below you. And your aura is permeable. So let's say you are, you're driving your car and you cut somebody off and they're yelling at you. Their energy can permeate your auric field. Unless you are bubbled up, as we call it, which is imagining putting yourself inside of a bubble or an egg of light, which sometimes we do. Sometimes people sense that there's a lot of negative energy around them and they will bubble up. But most of us don't kind of walk through life that way. So if you are not bubbled up, meaning you don't have sort of a web of protection around you all the time, which most of us don't, then people can permeate your aura. And so their energy, negative energy, somebody yelling at you, a fight even happening anywhere in your energetic field will affect you. If you're an empath, nothing has to even happen because you're sensing the energy of the people sitting next to you at the restaurant having lunch. And you're picking up on everything all the time. So one of the things, the reason I go through at night and do this, starting at the top of my head and then over my shoulders and down over my chest and then over my arms, almost like a bar of soap. One of the reasons I do that is you are basically going through and sealing it. You're sealing your aura. And if you continually do this, and yes, injuries can perforate your aura, illnesses can perforate your aura. I do a lot of, because I have chronic disease, I do a lot of healing of my aura, especially around if I've had flares. Those of you who have autoimmune like I do, we have flares, right? So when I'm in a flare, I'm sort of aware of it. Bad food can even perforate your aura. You have to watch what you eat because the food that you consume is the energy that surrounds you. And so anyway, yeah, Swiss cheese aura. That's right, Lori. And you do not want to have a Swiss cheese aura at all. I think it's really important for you to do this once a night. Okay, so if you are very psychically sensitive, very emotionally sensitive, you are one whose aura probably has to be a little more protected. One of the things we talk about, that's right, empathic hitchhikers. Some people can see their own aura. I'm not a good aura seer. That's not one of my soul gifts, but I do have friends who are very good at seeing auras. Now, what you have to do before you seal your aura, Heidi Kelly just asked a great question, is smudge. White sage, Salvia apiana, removes any negative energy or vibration, any low or stuck vibrations from your energetic field, period, end of story, done. It just removes it. And so I have a whole bedtime routine of smudging and then going through and dusting off. And I'll tell you, I feel better. And I'll notice it too. Part of the way, these things work is whether you feel a difference when you don't do it. When I don't do that, I don't sleep as well. Interesting, right? So it's like, you can say, well, does it work? Yeah, and so Jules, you could do that in addition to this. Jules calls upon St. Michael to surround her with white light. And so you can combine all of those things together. And I always tell people, I do so many different things energetically, and I feel really good. But oftentimes I don't know which one worked. Was it the smudging? Was it the praying? Was it the drumming? Was it the singing bowl? Was it the aura cleansing with the obsidian? You know what I mean? Was it the listening to high vibrational music like binaural beats? Like, what was it that I did? Was it eating cleaner? Was it drinking the kombucha? Was it drinking more water? Was it, which one was it? In my experience, no, Beth, surgery doesn't damage the aura, but that's just in my experience. And you might hear from others who would tell you that it does. So I would be curious to know what you think of that. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Angela says, if I skip a day of angelic color shielding, I definitely feel it. Yeah, they do, Sky. Sky's asking, do rattles remove bad energy? They sure do. They sure do. You're free and clear to water charge all of the stones in this set because a lot of them live in water. You cannot damage them. They are not water soluble, okay? So any of the stones that you've received in your October kit can be cleared and charged with water. Does that help make sense? I'm glad you're happy that you bought it too. It's a good one. Okay, and then we are on to fire opal. I'm going to start talking a little faster because I digressed a little bit. I do that sometimes. Okay. Fire opal is the national gemstone of what country? It feels like Jeopardy kind of when I ask you those questions. Same thing, Cynthia Dietz. Snowflake obsidian, same thing. Different part of the mine, different molecular structure, different amount of gas, different amount of nanoparticles equals different manifestation of that. Yeah, you can use any obsidian. Any obsidian you want. Okay, you ready? Yes, thank you, Rona. Or Rana. Is it Rona or Rona? I want to make sure I pronounce your name correctly because I love it. It is the national gemstone of Mexico. Yes, salt water is perfectly fine. Most opals have a flash, so that's a very good question too. Okay, fire opal, 5.5 to 6.5 on the measure of hardness scale. It's the most durable of all of the materials that I'm offering you tonight, which is really scary because it's very soft. Opals are mostly made of water, which is why you should store them in water and clear and charge them with water too. Here's what fire opal is good for. Are you ready? I have so much to tell you about fire opal. Love, magic, hope, happiness, and truth. And fire opals in Mexico come generally in 4 different colors or in 4 different patterns. They come in lemon, golden, orange, and dendritic. So there's diversity even within Mexican fire opal, which is pretty special. Okay, in the Mayan Aztec pantheon, fire opal was very important. Fire opals were used as sacrifices to the gods, sometimes in lieu of human sacrifice because fire opal was thought to be that powerful. They called it, and I'm going to totally butcher this, so please bear with me. They called it Quetzal Itzilipio Litli. I'm sure that's horrible, which means stone of the paradise bird, which was thought to bring good fortune. Yeah, the dendritic fire opal, you guys, crazy. I saw pieces of it in Denver, just this last show. The dendritic tends to be somewhat fossilized, which is very cool too. You see flashes of fire in that dendritic, which is pretty incredible. Okay, now from a spiritual perspective, so the Mayans and Aztecs loved it. Guess who else loved it? The ancient Indians. Indians from India, meaning Southeast Asia. Ancient Indians, yeah, I'll put the Aztec word in our group for you. I might even make a little meme out of it just because I think it's really a pretty story for you to know. Not all orange opal is the same, but all fire opal is the same, if that makes sense. Okay. So in ancient India, this stone was thought to connect you with your love, with your soulmate. It was thought to help you access the Akashic records of ancient love and to connect you with your original love, the truest soulmate of your heart. And that's one of my favorite stories about fire opal is the fact that it can connect you with an ancient love and the ancient wisdom of love in your soul. It brings adrenaline. It helps to give you additional energy, a boost of energy. If you really want to take it to the next level, work with carnelian and fire opal together. And maybe a little vanadinite, which helps you overcome obstacles. That would be like a protein boost for your day. And one of the things I've been doing is just putting mine in my bra. I'm gonna put it there right now. Close to my heart, because even though this is a sacral chakra stone, it's a stone for Svadhisthana, right? For the sacral chakra, which is all about fire and creativity and passion. Because of its meaning for love, I feel like it's a heart chakra stone too. So I'm curious to know what you think about that. I am curious to know what you think about that. And by the way, your little flash on yours might be clear, it might be blue, it might be brown, there's a whole rainbow of fire in fire opal. So if it doesn't look orange, you should see if maybe it's white or blue or something a little bit different than that. I know, isn't that cool? So, and here's the last story about opals. You ready? I love this story too. I'm a story collector, as you can tell. I really have spent my life as a professor just sort of collecting stories. And I love to talk to people. When I go to the gem shows, I'm always like, tell me a story. You know, people have such interesting stories if we'll learn how to listen. No, vanadinite is not toxic. It's very safe for you, in fact. So it's a good stone for you to work with. Okay, so the ancient Greeks believed that there was something called Mount Olympus, which is where Athena lived, and Zeus and Hera and all the gods and goddesses of the Greek pantheon. And they believed that once in a while, the gods would come down from Mount Olympus and go down to earth and mix and mingle with mortals and then go back up. And so as the legend goes, every step that the gods took down Mount Olympus to get to Earth would create spontaneous opals in the earth. That their footsteps were so powerful that they literally just created opals by walking, which I love. And so I always think of opals that way too. I don't have a lot of opals. I have one Ethiopian opal that I haven't set into jewelry yet, just because I want to do it the right way, and I can't quite do that right now, but I have one piece and I really treasure it. Oh, interesting. Okay, Sheila, well, send us a quick note to Magic and we will get you the right stone. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but we will, of course, fix that up for you right away. I love fire opals so much, you guys. I think they're really special. Oh, by the way, here's an interesting factoid. You ready before we move on to the Moldavite? I'm going to have you guess. What do you think is the largest size in carats of fire opal coming out of Mexico right now? Sending a little love to the whoever's needing that siren right now. What do you think is the largest size in carats Mexican fire opal coming out of Mexico right now? I'm just curious. Might surprise you. This is according to my fire opal source. It's an interesting question. There's sirens about, just so you know, about 75 times a day because I'm next to a fire station. So I get to send blessings to people almost 100 times a day. These are good guesses. 4 carats. And that's cut polished. 4 carats is the largest fire opal coming out of Mexico right now. I don't know about you, but that blew my mind. That is not big. That is not big. That's maybe about the size of my cut and polished, about my pinky finger, my pinky nail. Pretty crazy, right? We have to learn to appreciate that certain things never get big. Do you know what I mean? When I was able to get you natural tanzanite this size for November, I lost my mind. And this may not look like much to you, especially if you haven't worked with tanzanite before. This is unheard of. The largest size natural tanzanite we've ever had at Sage Goddess is half this size. It took us a year to get these. That's why, you know what I mean? You learn to really appreciate. It's not always the size of a stone that matters. It's the quality, it's the rarity. In some cases, it's the cut, right? So you have to look at all those factors when you are. I know I get really nerdy about all those little facts. I know, right? Well, yeah, and Nicole's saying that's huge, right? So it's pretty crazy. Okay, last but not least, but my favorite in some ways of the 3 is Moldavite. Moldavite, 15 million years old. It is the only gem quality stone of extraterrestrial origin. Comes only from the Czech Republic. It is a member of the Tektite group, which of course you have Tektite coming in your November kit. Here's what's really cool. Between tonight's kit, because you have Moldavite, and November's kit, which you have Danburite, Tanzanite, and Tektite, you have 1/3 now of the Synergy 12. Isn't that exciting? It's kind of cool. I mean, if you've been trying to collect the Synergy 12, my pieces, I will tell you, of Synergy 12 on my little altar are not as big as these. My pieces are about half the size of these, but I have a little micro Synergy 12. You've seen my Synergy 12 set. Okay, so let's talk about Moldavite because there's so much to say. And then I have giveaways, and we are done for tonight. You're welcome, you guys. I know UFO magic, right? It's very exciting. You can absolutely clear or clean your water or your Moldavite in water. Pam, it's a great question. You have to try Moldavite. You have to try it. I really think you have to try it. By the way, the Synergy 12 is the most powerful set of stones you can use for manifestation, hands down. That's why we all work with it. And so it is a worthy effort to collect the 12. Some of them I may never be able to bring you. I brought you phenakite. I have brought you brookite before. We're working on Satyaloka quartz. It's just very difficult to get these in quantity. And also, we had Satyaloka quartz, and I found out, I researched it, and I don't think it was real. So we sent it back because I was like, this just doesn't look like what I've seen from Satyaloka quartz. that people are selling things. I mean, you see fake. Did I tell you about a fake Moldavite? This was a really interesting story. Just so you guys see how careful we are. And again, sometimes we make mistakes and shit happens, but we are so careful. So we received a bag of Moldavite from one of our gem vendors, and it came, and he said, I'm so excited. This is my first time bringing you Moldavite. And we opened the bag, and we were like, this isn't Moldavite. And I had to tell the guy, this isn't Moldavite. And I had to do pictures and show him his stuff next to Moldavite. And he was really upset because he had bought it in good faith, thinking it was Moldavite. And then he was out the money. It was a really sad situation. And I actually kept a couple of pieces of it just for show and tell in case anybody says, well, what does fake Moldavite look like? It doesn't have any of the lines. Real Moldavite has all those etchings. Do you see those? Like those little tiny, it looks like another planet. Do you see all of that? And if it doesn't have all those lines, it's not real stuff. You'll learn to recognize it, all the patterning on it. And then when you see I felt really bad for him because he's a good guy. And he was trying to expand what he was doing. And it was like, you can't do that. I felt bad for him because he didn't know. Okay, here's the thing with Moldavite. It hardened upon re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. It is extraterrestrial. It is extraterrestrial, meaning that when you work with Moldavite, you are working with non-local reality. Okay, you are working with something that still holds the imprint, the memory, the experience of being outside of our solar system. And so I do have a couple of friends. It might look bubbly. It's hard to explain, right? It's a mixture of lines and bubbles, right? It's not geometric because again, if you're looking for geometry on these, you're not going to find it. It's amorphous. There's no crystal structure. So you're not going to find a pattern necessarily like you would find in quartz or like you would find in other crystals that have one of the codified crystal structures. Now, I do have friends. I have a friend who owns a store in Phoenix, and she won't even carry it in her store because she says that you can't clear it. And that's up to you, whether you feel that way or not. I have always felt like my Moldavites have found me, and I have always felt like I was able to do really powerful astral travel, shamanic journeying, manifestation work, visualization work using it because it opens up your energy field to receive transmissions from another dimension. For some people, that feels overwhelming. Yeah, Sharon says it makes her carotid artery pulse like crazy. It does make you a little jittery. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's not something, so here's what I'll tell you. Don't sleep with it. You know what I mean? If you're going to use it, meditate with it, do it first thing in the morning. That way, if you're a little jittery, you have the rest of the day to sort of work it out. You might try working with it with your obsidian, which will balance the energy, right? Because this is or your lava, which is very grounding, very stabilizing. So whereas this is going to raise the vibration and make you feel a little jittery, this is going to anchor you and bring you back down. So actually working with both would be really good for you because it'll keep you calm, it'll keep you balanced, it'll keep you centered. Sarah's like a little. I can never remember the name of her store. It's on one of the main drags there in Phoenix, and you have to go. So remind me to look it up because it's my favorite metaphysical shop. I absolutely love it in Phoenix, and so I will find. Can you guys remind me? And I will look up the name of it. And what's really cool is it's either her daughter or her son. I can't remember. They opened up a shop within a shop, and they do kind of like, niche artisan stuff like leather goods and things like that. And I absolutely just love it. So if you're ever in Phoenix, I always tell you, go support your mom and pop shops because it's become very hard for them in this era of online, right? Where people just want things at the lowest price. And so they usually can find the lowest price online. And so they're giving up their mom and pop shops for that. And it makes it really hard because those people are beautiful folks who are doing really good work. Absolutely. Unfortunately, I was the good shop in San Francisco when I was there. A lot of the metaphysical places have shut down. The Sword and the Rose is an institution in San Francisco. If you're ever there, you have to go. I had come to know the owner quite well, and he died in a house fire right before I moved back. On Christmas Day, actually. You can read the whole story. It was devastating because he was a very powerful wizard, and I used to love going and spending time with him. He would just channel and download. He was unlike anyone I'd ever met. And he'd been there. He knew Janis Joplin. He'd been in San Francisco doing magic since the 50s and 60s. And so when he died, it was relatively devastating, really. But always go local if you can. And in fact, if you look up Sword in the Rose on Yelp, you'll actually see people talking about him and honoring his memory, which is really sweet. The Psychic Eye is still here in LA, and there's one in Las Vegas. I don't know if there's any others. It's not a place that I frequent because the energy isn't good for me, just me personally, but it's definitely still there as an institution. Sword in the Rose in San Francisco. Okay, you ready for giveaway time? Did you guys have fun tonight? Did you like it? It went by so flipping fast. Like how? How has it been 80 minutes? I know. Okay, so we're going to do 3 giveaways tonight. You ready? This one is going to go into the group because there are some people who are not watching live right now, and I always feel bad if they get left out. So this is Tanzanite. Like I said, it's about, I would say, 6 to 8 carats of Tanzanite, open on the back, sterling silver. So I'm going to continue. Actually, I'm going to have my team. Can you guys who are watching just let them know that they can comment on the post for the beautiful Tanzanite necklace. Isn't it beautiful? And then I'll give that away in the group tomorrow. Let's do the giveaways for you. So I'm going to start. I know, isn't it beautiful? Yay! I'm so glad you guys had a good time tonight. I loved being with you. It's so much fun. So much fun, especially since I'm going home to not so much fun right now. Thank you for letting the last hour and a half of my evening be really lovely with you. I appreciate it. Okay. So this is Moldavite, kind of the mother lode. You know the story, hardened upon re-entry to Earth. This is one of the largest pieces that we have here at Sage Goddess, so that tells you a lot. I don't know the value of it, but it's worth a lot because Moldavite is like diamonds, where the price goes up exponentially, right? So a piece like this is worth about $15, and you can end up paying, more than $200 for a piece like this. Okay, so who is feeling called? So excited. Thank you guys for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Ha. Oh, it's awesome. I love Deb that she uses the loop during class because it really does give you a better perspective. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let us see who's going to take this one home. Okay, so this particular piece, I'm just waiting for verification from the universe itself. Okay. Oh my goodness. I love that too. I believe that too. Okay, so this piece is going to, where is it? Where are you, Tara? This piece is going to Tara, but I'm trying to find your comment. Tara, let me know that you see me and that you hear me saying it's going to you. Tara, this piece belongs to you. Congratulations, Tara. I wanted verification. Sometimes it takes me like a minute just to get a really solid hit, and it sure did. So Tara, this piece is going to you. Congratulations. Can you guys let me know when Tara says yes that she saw it? I would really love to know. Tara. Tara. And hopefully Tara is still on and live and she can see. Yes. Yes, Tara, with a beautiful Greek name. I think your last name is Greek. It is you. Congratulations. Tara E. F. Carpides. Is it F. Carpides? F. Carpides. It's a beautiful name, actually. Tara F. Carpides. You are the winner of that beautiful Moldavite. And just make sure I have your mailing address. Just send me a quick PM to say, hey, Athena, got it. Thank you. And here is the place to send that stone to. It is absolutely 1000% meant for you, Tara. I'm really excited for you. I actually have a magic way of slowing the feed when I choose your giveaway. So even if you think I don't see you, I do. Because as soon as I go into the feed and start scrolling, it completely slows and almost stops. So never think that I don't see you. Okay, last piece for the night. Who is feeling called to this? Let me say this. This piece should go to somebody who feels like there's stuck energy around them, that they're having a hard time moving. Does that make sense? This piece should go to somebody who feels like, because I want you to use it like this. So if you know that you're going to use it like this, it's big, it's so heavy, like I can hardly keep it in my hand. If you know that you're going to use it like this, and you know that you have some stuck energy that you're not sure how to move. God, that piece is unflippin' real. And you know what's amazing is how they carve it. They're not intentional. They're not trying to get that center circle in the center. Sometimes they told me it's just serendipity, isn't it? Oh, I love it. You guys are feeling it right now. I have slowed that feed down. Love, love, love. Oh, I'm so glad, Tara. Congratulations to you. That just makes my heart sing. It really, really does. Oh, I know. It's so good, you guys. Okay, I've got a hit on it. Houston, we have a winner. Here's what's really funny. Mariah just commented and said that she knew it was hers. And you know what, Mariah? I knew it was yours far earlier tonight, maybe even before you knew it was yours. Like, what is that? It's flash tattoo. Mariah, this piece is absolutely meant for you, 1000%. And I know it because as soon as I saw Mariah's name earlier this evening, my guide said, you have something for her. As soon as I saw her name, and it happens with you guys a lot, actually, where it's like, I just get this hit and I know. And so, Mariah, this is going to be a real blessing to you. And I want you, I'm going to send it to you in the mail tomorrow. Same thing with you, Mariah. Just, I know, are you excited? Oh, yay, I got to see, I love it when I get to see your comments in the feed. Like when you guys say, oh, she saw it. That's nice too. But when I get to see it, it's hugely fulfilling. So congratulations, my sister. This is the mother lode of Golden Sheen. And it looks like this in the dark. Wait till you take this thing outside. It might just levitate and fly away. Use it wisely. That's right, Sarah Allison. All right, you guys. So thank you for being here with me tonight. You can still enter the Tanzanite giveaway in the group. So I highly recommend that you do that. We'll choose a winner tomorrow. Your gemstone set for November is in the shop. It is the Blue Goldstone Synergy Palm Stone, which we're going to talk about Blue Goldstone and the magic of that. Tektite, Tanzanite, and calcite-coated danburite. It's probably the best set of the year. Like I said, I always tell you guys, we try to restock the sets. I don't know that we're going to be able to restock November, potentially at all. And so if it is speaking to you, I would grab it. Monday is Samhain. Monday is Samhain. Oh yeah, with the crown and the root. So after you're done, let's do it with your wisdom stone, right? So you go home tonight, you're scrubbing with soap. Just over the top of your head, 1, 2, 3. Okay, when you're done. And I know it sounds weird, but over the root, 1, 2, 3. Or you can go down here and do it like that. 1, 2, 3. And you're just basically sealing up the two places where energy leaves the body. It leaves through the head and it leaves through the root. So 3 circles, clockwise circles, yep. And if you want to open those energy centers, counterclockwise 3 times. Down here, counterclockwise 3 times if you want to open it to be a better channel. But just make sure if you open them that you go through and you close them. You do not want to leave your chakras open. That's an easy way to have psychic attack and auric attack. You do not want that. Not that anyone does that intentionally, but it does happen and you want to protect yourself. Yeah, seal that shit up, Dora is exactly right. Hi, Christy. It's so good to see you. So thank you for being here. So clockwise closes. Closes. Counterclockwise opens the chakras. I don't know why that is, but it's just how the energy moves. So clockwise to close. Counterclockwise to open. Yeah. Thanks, you guys. Yeah, I'm going to go home and take care of that little wee one. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday. So Monday is Samhain. Live 6 p.m. ritual. I do it right. It's going to be super magical. We are crossing the veil together. First, we're going to do a shamanic journey to the lower realm, where we're going to meet your totem spirit animals, your spirit animals from the animal kingdom. Spirit guides for the animal kingdom. We're going to meet your mineral guides. I'm going to introduce you to the crystal spirits. in the lower realm. And so we are going to explore and go down into the caves and the caverns and the most incredible lower world shamanic journey that we've ever done, really. And then we are going to rise and explore the upper realm across the veil. What's happening in the Akashic records? What do you need to know from your guides? And we're going to take this to the next level come full moon December. Okay, so we're starting a process on Monday night at Samhain that we are going to finish and complete at the December full moon. I can't wait. So there's a lot of connections between the work we're doing on Monday and the work that is coming all the way into December. I cannot wait. So I will look forward to seeing you then. If you're in LA, come join us. I will be live here in LA. We're going to open the doors, I think, at 5 p.m. as we always do for meet and greet and you know, food and wine and appetizers and all of that. And then we'll start Ritual Bride at 6 p.m. I cannot wait. All right, you guys. Well, that's awesome. Well, happy 1 year anniversary to us together. I appreciate it. Yes. And thank you for the kind thoughts and prayers. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys very soon. Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you for being here.